It's just simple ingredients. You'll love it. I made it on here one time before, but I was making it again tonight, so I thought I'd get on here and show you. Okay? So, let's see here. Alright, so in my bowl here, and you really don't even need a bowl this big. I just had this out because this is what I made my dumplings in last night. And I had just gotten it out of the wash. And I thought, well, instead of putting that up, I'll just keep it out and make my spinach dip in it. Anyway, right here I have about 6 ounces of cream cheese, okay, that I have let sit out here and get softened up. As you can tell, it has got softened. All right, about 6 ounces, give or take. You want to do 16 ounces of sour cream. Y'all, this is so simple and easy. It is just simple ingredients, and it is delicious. What I love about this dip the most is it's really good served with veggies. So if you really want to enjoy your dip and not feel so guilty by eating a ton of chips, this is definitely one of those because it is so good. I love to have this with cucumbers, tomatoes. Of course, it's good with chips too. But it is also good, really good with veggies. I know ranch dip is good with veggies too. So this is just one of those that's a little bit different than your ranch dip. That is still really good with your vegetables, okay? Alright, 6 ounces of cream cheese, 16 ounces sour cream. Now we have 1 cup of mayo. Going in. Get all of that in there. Okay. And then I have about 3 chopped up green onions. The white and the green. I use both. Okay. And then here I have 12 ounces of spinach. That it was frozen spinach that I squeezed and drained and squeezed and drained. Y'all know how that whole thing goes. It takes you that's the hardest part of the whole recipe, is getting this spinach worked out, but it just takes a while. I just kind of put it in my strainer here and I'd walk by and squeeze it and drain it and squeeze it and drain it and that whole thing. So about 12 ounces of your frozen spinach, okay? And then I like to do about 1/4 cup of just your grated parm, okay? About 1/4 of a cup going in. And then I don't always do this, but I have this in the fridge, so I'm gonna toss some in. This is just some shredded parm. Again, this is optional. I just had it in there and I thought, okay, I'm going to use some of it. So I'm just going to put a little handful of that in there. As you can see, you definitely do not have to have that. Okay? And then now I'm going to put 1 package of this Knorr, well, I cut the top off of it off, but this Knorr vegetable recipe mix. This is so good for this dip. I love it. This is the only thing that I use this for, but I absolutely love it. It is fantastic. Okay. Get all that off of there. And y'all, that's it. This is our dip. That's all it is, and it is so good. I'm going to get this all mixed up. Get that cream cheese mixed in really good. And of course, now this is better once it sits for a little bit, because especially this mix, that vegetable mix, you know, it has like dried veggies in it. So once it sits for a while, then they soften up and all those flavors get in there. But y'all, I absolutely love this spinach dip. Like I said, I love all the other ones too. The ones you cook, and I make tons of them. But this is so simple. Y'all see how quick we just threw that together? That was that. This is the dip right here. And I promise you, everybody loves it. It is so super good with veggies. It's good with chips. Let me get me a chip real quick, and we're going to try it And then I'm gonna fix it on my plate and I'll come back and we'll try it, or we'll fix it up a little bit better. All right, let me just see. Make sure I got everything in there. I'm not forgetting anything. Let's see. That's it. That is it. Y'all, that is so good. It's that right there. Perfect. Right, y'all. Give me just a second. I'm gonna get everything cleaned up here. I'm gonna fix up my little plate, how I'm gonna have a little bit of it tonight. Like I said, of course, it's better once it sits in the fridge and kind of rests a little bit, but we're gonna fix it up and have just a little bit. I'll be back in a second. Okay, y'all. Here is our little dip, and I did sprinkle a little bit of my shredded parm over the top just because I had it out. But that is what I love about this dip. It is so good with your veggies. I know I already said that. I know ranch dip is good with veggies, but this to me is my most favorite dip to have with veggies. I enjoy it, and I don't even miss the chips whenever I eat it with veggies like this, okay? I did put a few little chips on here that I had. It was kind of like just little crumbles at the bottom of the bag, but they were too crunchy, so I thought, okay, I'll put them on there and we'll try it. But remember, that little bag of seasoning that we put on there, if you're not familiar with it, I'm just telling you this if you're not. This has a lot of like dehydrated veggies and different things in it. So after this sits for a while, it is 10 times better. So if you just made it up and you taste it and you think, okay, well, that's pretty good or whatever, it's going to be 10 times better once it sits in the fridge for a little bit. I like it now just how it is, but I absolutely love it once it sits for a bit. Okay, so just keep that in mind. It is going to get better, and I love it with these little tomatoes. And I always get those little cucumbers, you know, those little ones are in a bag. They kind of look like the little English cucumbers, but they're tiny.